everyone, and welcome to the OERizona podcast. I'm Teresa, and I'm excited to be your host today. This episode is all about the OERizona Conference 2026, what it's about, who it's for, and why it matters. Whether you've attended before, you're brand new to open education, or you're just curious about what OER is all about, this episode is for you. I'm joined by two amazing guests who are deeply involved in making OERizona and this conference what it is. Megan, who serves as our president of OERizona, and Chelsea, who is the conference planning chair for this year's conference. Welcome, Megan and Chelsea.
Thanks, Teresa. So happy to be here.
Hi, thanks, Teresa.
Yes, so let's get started by helping our listeners get to know you both. Megan, can you briefly share your background and how you're connected to OERizona?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm just really excited to be here and share this amazing opportunity about the conference. And as Teresa said, I am currently serving as the board president for the OERizona network. I have been doing this for about 2 years, 2.5 years, somewhere around there. And I came into this role as the project director for the open textbook pilot grant that we received back in 2021 for all of the rural colleges in Arizona. And then we kind of merged the two projects and really expanded and grew the OERizona network to be a true statewide network that includes all of our public universities, our community colleges, and now 2 tribal colleges.
Thank you. And Chelsea, how about you? What's your path to this organization and the conference?
Yeah, so I am with Pima Community College, and I was hired on a few years ago to be the OER and course materials director, first position at the college of that kind. And the first thing I did was reach out to all of my folks across the state to find some like-minded folks to teach me the way, because I was new to OER. I mean, I sort of knew about it and what it was. I'm a librarian from the library field, so I knew about it, but I didn't know how amazing it was, I guess, and really just kind of dove into our community and was just blown away by the community around OER, not just in Arizona, but in across the nation and across the world. And so I stepped right in and said, hey, how can I help? What can I do? And I have been the chair for the conference for, this is the second year, so this will be the second year that Pima will be hosting the conference. And yeah, just here to learn with everybody else and see where I can help out.
I know it sounds like our paths are very similar. I really just fell into this organization as well, but it's been a great resource to help me understand how to move this program, OER into our institution as well. So thank you for sharing that. Megan, for our listeners who are new, can you give us a little overview of the history, the growth, and the progress of OERizona as an organization?
Yeah. So I kind of touched on that a little bit. So the OERizona network has been around since I believe like 2017 or 2018. I'm gonna mess up the years there, but it started out as just a real coalition of the willing from our larger community colleges, so Maricopa and Pima, and then the 3 state universities, and some very passionate leaders about open education, OER. And they kind of formed this network and started doing a conference. So this will be our 8th annual conference. So it's been going on for 8 years. And then in 2021, Yavapai College, so I work for Yavapai College, received an open textbook pilot grant as the lead agent. And the grant was to form a consortium coalition with the rural community colleges, focusing on creating and building out open textbooks. So it was the Open Textbooks for Rural Arizona initiative. And I was hired on as the project director for that initiative. And so doing that work while we had this OERizona network going on, I started thinking, like, how could we be leveraging these 2 initiatives and really expand and grow? And so 2 years into the project, I reached out to Matthew Bloom and a couple other, Lisa Young and a couple other leaders, Debbie Baker, um, who have been kind of working with the OERizona network, leading that effort, and kind of posed this idea of we should be really forming a true statewide network. I also reached out to our monitor for the grant and got permission to rebrand. So we really leveraged the remaining of the grant to expand, grow, and be a catalyst for the OERizona network. So through those two initiatives, we were able to form this network that really represents all of the state by bringing in all the rural community colleges that are much smaller, sometimes have less resources, serve very different populations. Arizona is such a diverse state geographically and with the students that we serve across the state. So, forming this coalition has really helped bridge some of those gaps where you have maybe a department of one or no full-time faculty, and then having another institution that has full-time faculty. So being able to leverage those resources, build collaboration, has really been able to allow the state to build out more resources that we can share across our educators. So that's kind of how we've gotten to where we're at right now. And through the conference, like I said, this is the 8th annual conference, so we're really excited to show that this is truly a sustainable project. But there's no state legislation, there's no mandates that are telling us to do this work. We are really doing this work because we love what we do and we want to make the educational experience better for all of our students across Arizona.
Exactly. And this conference is such a great way for people who aren't familiar with open educational resources in Arizona to become more familiar and to bridge that understanding for their students as well as their colleagues. So, Chelsea, why don't you tell us a little bit about how this conference has grown over the years?
Yeah, so this is really my second conference. So prior to that, maybe Megan might be able to fill us in a little bit, but I think that it's grown a lot since we decided to go virtual, and that might have been due to pandemic and so forth. I, it's so nice to have in person, but really virtual allows it to be so much more accessible to our faculty and folks across the nation. And so over the last few years, it's grown incredibly. I think we have about 200 people right now registered for this conference. So that's quite amazing. I don't know how many people were at some of the first conferences, but probably just a small group of folks. So it's really grown exponentially, which is awesome. Um, and yeah, we're just looking to grow it more this year. I'm really excited that we have so many folks from Arizona who are synced in and locked in. So a huge percentage of that 200 I was looking through are folks right here in Arizona. Of course, we welcome everybody across the nation. It's a free conference, so anybody can attend. We encourage folks to attend one session or both days.
Right.
It's really open and accessible and growing. We hope to see everybody show up and grow more next year too.
Because I know a lot of people are having issues around budgeting. So having a virtual conference really does eliminate that cost of transportation and hotel. And because of how the conference is timed, people can still get a little bit of work in, jump in for the sessions that are interesting to them. But the other good thing about it is the conference is recorded. So in preparation for this conference, if anyone wants to check out the past conferences, how can they access those?
Yeah, those are linked, I believe, on OERizona.com, right, on our website. So you can go and see last year's for sure. And we'll be uploading this year's as well and have those recorded. So I did we also, Megan, put them on our Arizona
YouTube.
Hub on OER Commons? So
Yeah. So we created groups on our OER Commons Hub, so we can share out the recordings and the different resources that were shared. So if there's PowerPoints or slides or handouts, resources. So we really try to make whatever is being shared out is accessible to others. We know that it's really hard sometimes to commit to a whole day of training. So we understand that some people may not be able to attend all the sessions that they maybe want to attend. And so this is a great way to make those resources available. And then, or for people that want to go back and say, this was a really great idea, I want to replicate that. Where can I find
Right.
it? We try to archive everything and have them available for people to get access to.
And it's a great tool and a resource for people to take back to their institutions as well and to use for professional development and to say, okay, this is what we're thinking about doing. Here's a workshop that kind of introduces that. So I love that. Again, I know that sponsors and partnerships are important to the mission of OERizona as well as the conference. Can you speak to that a little bit about who our sponsors are, if we have any, if there are any sponsors?
So in the past, we've had sponsors. This year, we're very fortunate that we received a grant through the Wichita OER West organization. So we have a small grant that's supporting this effort. I believe that grant is through the Hewlett Foundation. So we were really, really fortunate to get that grant so that we don't have to ask for sponsorships. But of course, we are leveraging all of our resources across the state to support and run this conference. PIMA, although is not a monetary sponsor, is hosting this conference. So we always have a host institution. Pima Community College is a host this time. And so they're providing a lot of support and resources, tech support, Chelsea's time and effort and dedication to get this conference up and running, along with the team that she has to help her out. So we really leverage a lot of the different resources that we have available. And then the conference presenters are, you know, a lot of them are coming from Arizona. So it's a platform for people to really showcase the amazing work that they're doing, not only across the nation, but really specifically in Arizona, which is really fantastic. So we keep it low budget. We have great partnerships and relationships across the state and institutions that are willing to support this effort so that people can get access to professional development at really low cost for their own institution.
Exactly. And I think the organization has institutional reps. And so those relationships are also leveraged. I know the University of Arizona Global will host the conference next year, which is exciting for us. But also each of those institutional reps brings with them hundreds of people that can contribute to this knowledge base as well. And just speaking about that, let's talk about the impact that this conference has on teaching and learning and student success. What are you all what can you all speak to that? How can you all speak to that?
I think that one of the most powerful things that I've seen with this conference and this is community. It's not just a conference, it's a community, and that feels different than a lot of conferences where I go and get some ideas and things that maybe I can implement or maybe not. Not I really feel like there's a community. I know the names of people. I recognize the institutions. It's kind of the same folks that are doing this work, and I feel comfortable reaching out to everybody. So it's a great place to get names of folks who are happy. I mean, that's what open education is, right? We like to share. You email anybody in this community, and they're like, absolutely, here's more than you need. Here's more information than you possibly need. So it does create that space for faculty, librarians, administrators, staff, students to come together and find each other and share that like collective energy. I think is one of the things that I think is great
Hallmarks of the
about this.
conference. I agree. I just had a meeting with Debbie Baker, who's with Maricopa, and I've had so many opportunities to learn from her, and her work has inspired my work at UAGC. So I think that when you talk about this kind of how do we even justify spending 2 days at this conference, that's one of the reasons how you justify is the relationships, the connections, the support that you can receive. And it's a free conference, as you've said before. There's no cost to the attendees. Maggie, can you think of a specific outcome at a university that you know of that was directly related to the conference or the organization?
So, not necessarily directly to the conference, because the conference is just one component, but to the OERizona network and the initiatives that we have going on. We have two community colleges, Eastern Arizona and Northland Pioneer College, who have been able to get OER as part of their strategic initiatives at their institution. And that, I think has not is highly correlated to the OERizona network, and having the support and the resources of different institutions from across the state to leverage on. So similar to what you said, Teresa, where you're kind of modeling things off of what Debbie Baker has done with the Maricopa community colleges. We've all been reached out to, where I have people coming to me and saying, how are you doing this at Yavapai College? You have such a robust OER initiative. And so giving kind of points and tips and saying, this is what we've done. And people have pieced together. They say, okay, this has really worked, and let's try this at our institution. And those two colleges have done amazing to really grow out their own OER initiative at their own institution. And those are just two. I know that there's other institutions that are making strides towards having it more institutionalized. It's not just tied to a grant. It's becoming a way of life at the institution. Like at Yavapai College, that's kind of the one thing, faculty, it's like, well, are you going to do OER, and how can you do it? If it's there, we're going to use it. It's not the last resort. It's kind of the first thing that we go to for a lot of our courses. And so a lot of institutions are trying to do that at their own institution. So I think the network is a way and a space for people to leverage and find what is working, what's not working, and not having to reinvent. It's really about adopting, adapting, and remixing, which is what OER is, but not just for the resources, but also for the way that we're doing things at our institution. You don't have to come up with a whole program from scratch. We're doing it at our institutions, and we can model it and rebuild and provide those resources. So the network is doing that in different ways.
I want to comment a little on that institutional level change. I'm one person at this college who is in charge of trying to get that OER awareness out. And we have lots of folks who do it, on their own, uh, who use OER, but trying to move the needle, so to speak, is really hard for one person. And this network has been, when my administrators go to different conferences and go to different organizations and associations, they hear about this. And so I had one administrator come and bring me OERizona network stickers one time. And he was like, hey, have you heard of this? I was like, well, yes, I have. I'm on the board. So it's really cool, all the different angles. And this really helps with that awareness across the state to get to the top level.
I love that boomerang effect, though.
Yeah.
Like, of course I know, this is what I've been talking about. It's almost like that FedEx commercial where they say it this way, and he goes, well, he just moved his hand differently. Sometimes that's what it takes, though, really. So let's talk about the theme for this year, so we can get people excited about coming to the conference, and kind of maybe even give them an understanding of what they can expect from the sessions. What is our theme?
Yeah, so this year we are surviving and thriving, which felt very relevant for kind of the entire world we're in right now, I think, and OER and education in general. So surviving and thriving, and so we are sharing the opportunities and the wins, but also sharing our barriers and our challenges with each other as well, and how we can overcome them.
I love that. I think there probably are, you can almost say there are themes to each of the sections on the agenda of the conference as well. So people can kind of really pick and choose. And knowing that these are recorded sessions, they can always go back if they miss it in running live. So that's a really fantastic benefit of this conference as well. When you think about who comes to the conference, who are the attendees, and who do you think would find the most value in attending the conference?
So this year, I want to say faculty is a huge, is going to have a huge win if they come. We have tons of faculty who are presenting what they're doing in their classrooms, real life examples, real resources. So I think faculty is a big one that we would love to see come and take pieces, but also administrators to see what their faculty are doing, what their faculty are interested in, and deans to share out that, our faculty leadership, our academic leadership folks, so that they can help. They're the leadership for faculty, and if a faculty comes in, oh, I heard that here, here's the resource, or here's the person I can put you in touch with. I saw this. So just kind of getting to know that. But librarians are huge in this space, as well as instructional designers. We see a lot of instructional designers in this space. Students are absolutely welcome. We have a number of sessions that look at co-creating with students. Everybody is welcome. Anybody in education, we'd love to see some K through 12 folks come on board.
Nice.
Hopefully
I
that's
love
the future.
the mixing of the groups too.
Yes.
I love librarians and I enjoy my time doing course development with instructional designers, but sometimes we only know them in that role and you don't get to understand kind of their why to certain things. And so sometimes coming to conferences like that really allows you to get to see why the librarian is asking you to do certain things when you're in course development, or why the instructional designer is saying these things to you. I have learned so much about the back end of things just from having exposure to different, populations at these different conferences. So, Megan, did you want to add something or?
No, I think Chelsea, you touched on it. It's really open to everyone and anyone who wants to learn and grow, around open educational resources and open education. There's so much more than just the resources component, which is something I think a lot of people, they hear OER and they're like, okay, it's the resources, but there's so much more about, and it's the cost savings, right? Cost savings, how much more money we're saving students, but there's so much more. It's about, pedagogical practices, it's about access. And so this conference really captures a lot of what's happening beyond just we're saving students money, because we are doing that, but we're doing so much more. And so this conference really provides that platform for faculty, librarians, instructional designers, you name it, to showcase all the amazing work that they're doing and giving tools and tips and beyond just how much money we're saving students.
Exactly. So speaking on those sessions, what is the format? What types of formats are going to be in the workshop sessions?
So I can speak on that. So we have a keynote on the first day, Dr. Lisa Young, and she previously worked with Maricopa Community Colleges, and she has retired and is now with From Open Textbooks to Open Future. So she's going to really be talking a lot about the history of open education in Arizona and nationwide, and how Arizona really was at the forefront of a lot of this. We've been in open education for over a decade, and she does have an openly licensed book that she's going to draw off of, Open Education in Maricopa Community Colleges. Oh, I guess the history of open education in Maricopa Community Colleges. So she's going to draw on some of that, look at from textbook affordability onto this journey that we're on that Megan had mentioned, about the Open Textbooks for Rural Arizona Initiative project, and into OERizona network today. And then she's going to talk a little bit about what the future might hold, and looking at how open education and micro-credentialing and learning employment records kind of are maybe the new frontier. And so that'll be awesome. So that's on the first day. On the second day, we have Gabby Hernandez and Nicole Allen from Open Education Association, and they're going to actually do they're going to engage our audience with a session that's more of an interactive session. They're going to be asking for feedback from us. So I hope everybody will attend, especially from Arizona. It's called What Does OERizona Need from a National Association? And so both of them, Gabby and Nicole, are looking for ways that they can co-design, I guess, the future of open education across the nation, and what do we need as an association or a network, and how can we really work together from the state level, from the community level, state level, and national level. So please come to that, because that'll be our chance to let them know what we need. And then we have a couple different sessions, then different types of sessions, I should say. Altogether, we have nearly 40 sessions. So that's a lot. We had a lot of folks who are interested in sharing what they have. 40 sessions. So we have some that are kind of quick 30-minute sessions to showcase their work or whatnot. And then we have a couple of hour-long workshops that you can choose from. And can I just highlight a few of our sessions here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we do have some for like getting familiar with OER, folks who are just kind of getting started. We have ones that are people who are ready to get started, and some really good tips and tricks surviving and thriving with OER, things about practice and evidence, opportunities, adopting and creating with OER. So this kind of gives you a step-by-step timeline from start to finish. So those folks who really want some tips to get started. We have a lot of sessions where faculty are going to share what they're doing in specific subjects. One addressing Arizona health challenges through faculty-student STEAM partnerships. Another empowering Indigenous women and youth through open storytelling. Rebuilding Art 105 with OER. Opening UMass history via OER. Lots of sessions that are showcasing specific subjects and faculty that have created stuff. Some related to accessibility. We have a lot, as you might not be surprised, a lot of sessions that are going to explore the intersection between OER and AI. So,
hot topic.
Hot topic, yeah. Some really cool stuff folks are doing. One, AI-powered pathways to open education, enhancing practice and expanding discovery, using Notebook LM. AI-accelerated OER, fast, ethical, and accessible. Yeah, so lots of those. And then others that are going to showcase open pedagogy and co-creation with students as co-creators, how OER and AI personalization help learners survive and thrive. So that combines both AI and students. Student OER for inclusive poster design, student organizations, thriving through open practices, a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
A lot of sessions that are viewing OER through a social justice lens,
which is so relevant right now. So if we were going to officially invite our listeners, what would you all say? Megan, what would you say to officially invite our listeners to come to OERizona Conference 2026?
Come, join, and learn and connect, because I want to leverage touch base on what Chelsea said, that it is about community. It's not only about learning, it's really about community and being able to connect with other people that are like-minded, or if you're just even not sure, you're like, what is OER? Can I do this? This is a great conference to come to and to spark some, ideas, or just to pique some interest, and just to see what it's about, because we know that sometimes it's just dipping a toe in and that's all it takes. So we encourage anyone to come and to learn and to connect with this amazing community, because it truly is an amazing community.
It is. Chelsea, what about you?
Well, first of all, you could go to OERizona.org, and there's a conference link there, and you can register there. It's free, so register. We are using Whova. I also want to mention that Whova asks you to download an app, but you can get it on your desktop too. So register so you get all of our updates. Come for community, come for confidence. I don't know that I would have felt confident creating my own materials or adapting something until I started talking with other faculty and folks within this community, and give me the confidence that I have the the knowledge,
Right.
and I can do this. And yeah, so
Exactly. Well, gosh, this has been wonderful. Megan and Chelsea, thank you both for sharing your time and your insights. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you at the OERizona Conference 2026. Register at oerizona.org. That's OERizona.org. And be sure to check our show notes for any other registration information. Until next time, thanks for listening. Take care.